So this is a video about entities from my experience and perspective. I have been smashing out a few videos today and was like, okay, no, I think there's one more. And it's one that's, I feel like I have a lot of wisdom around, and so it's interesting that I want to do that one now, last. Anyway, so entities. I've done heaps of research and heaps of healing around entities. I'm gonna jump straight to how to protect yourself from them, and the main thing is just give them no attention. Act like they don't exist. It's like if you don't like someone and they're being a dick to you, you ignore them, right? So it's just basically exactly the same. Could have just stopped the video there. But yeah, I got to that conclusion with a healer at the end of a really long journey who really helped me. She was one of the only ones who kind of really identified and worked with the entities. There was one other kind of earlier on who was like a shaman years ago. So I'm just gonna, this is like the least planned video. It's gonna be the most ad-lib. But yeah. I first recall seeing ghosts or so the way this healer framed it, she was like ghosts, ghouls, poltergeists, demons, she used this language or how we might perceive what these energies are. And they often come when we're vulnerable, which is when we're asleep. Yeah, so or if we're on substances, drugs or alcohol. Yeah, they'll come in when our energy field is open or weak. I only towards the end would get them when I was sick or had insomnia, because my energy field was weak. But I was 16 and I was in Germany on this language exchange, and I woke up in between these two other girls in this double bed with these figures standing around the bed looking down on us, which was creepy as fuck. And I screamed. My friend was like, oh my god, there's people in the room, they're all watching us, and my friends were like, no, there's no one here. Anyway, it took me years to remember that I'd had that dream, because in my 20s, when I started really coming into my creative power, I kept having these dreams about these energies that would attack me. And I know that there's a thing called sleep paralysis, and most people would gaslight you and say, oh, it's just sleep paralysis when you can't move and there's a figure pinning you down. It's no, that's not sleep paralysis. It's possible that it's a combination, very likely it's a combination, so the sleep paralysis is there as well, so you can't move, and then these creatures will come and terrorize you. Yeah, great. So yeah, I know that my third eye has always been very open right from when I was a child, and yeah, so here I am in my early 20s, mid-20s, getting choked by entities in my fucking sleep. I remember having times where I would literally be I could hear myself choking. I'd be asleep, choking because this fucking thing's trying to choke me. Yeah, and I could sometimes see them walk they were poltergeists. Some of them they're just this figure that would just come, it was a see-through energy. I've had other times where I many times of feeling I'm being held down, or there's something, a succubus kind of feeling, this creature on me sucking my energy, and I can't move, and it was really scary to begin with. It was really scary, and I was always resisting and trying to wake up and trying to wake up out of the dream, and it was it would keep me asleep. So anyway, yeah, fun times. Yeah, and then yeah, I remember one time like feeling one or a couple of them just like right next to my head on the bed, like I could feel like, and I almost felt like this oozy, just like could feel its breath, just like sometimes I can hear their like breath. I could hear their breath like breathing on me, like just gross, almost like, you know, like the Labyrinth, you know how she has these like, there's these like Muppet ghouls, like there's like, yeah, they're like Muppety like ghouls. So there's those creaturey things, and then there's like the figures, and then different, but like they're both fucking horrible. So yeah, yeah, I worked with a shaman years ago to try and get rid of them, and didn't work. And yeah, she told me I'd been a shaman in a past life, and they're like being, because I trained with her, and she was like, oh, this is like old hat for you. I felt the same with martial arts, but like I'll do a separate video about past lives. Yeah, so like you cannot make this shit up, eh? Like it sounds so crazy. Yeah, and yeah, so I mean, I kind of forget about it all because it just doesn't happen anymore. But yeah, I did a lot of research online and did a lot of like, listened to a lot of podcasts, and I did worked with a lot of healers who specialized in dealing with entities and energies. I got told at one point that ghosts or like energies that don't know that they're dead come to me because of the shaman energy that I've had from past lives, and whereas I'm getting totally freaked out by them, and that they know that I can sense them, so they're like coming to me to help release them from this world. So if I would have that feeling, I would just help, just say like, you know, go to the light. But there's a difference between ghosts and yeah, and these like entity creature things, so that are like pretty like they feel really threatening. There was a certain point at which I got quite powerful in my sleep, and I was able to actually just blast them with light in my sleep, and they would just literally like blast off me, like it's like full-on sorcery. Like I'd be asleep in my mind's eye, I'd just like blast them with light, and they just bounce off me and dissolve or just disappear. So that was happening for a little while. Pretty crazy shit. Yeah, but ultimately you just don't want them even near you, you know? So, yeah, I worked with this energy healer just before I moved back to New Zealand 5 years ago, just after I left my ex. And I was working around that, actually, and then she was really the first one in years to just bring it up. She was like, oh, there's this happening, and she said it was related to my mother's line, and there was some like she used the word curse, but she just sort of said like, yeah, like this negative energy there that's always trying to pull you down. And then she, honestly, the wildest thing in the world, she like said it was from a past life, one of my primary lives in another planet, where these creatures or like these energies like infiltrated the planet and just overnight like destroyed the planet or like destroyed our world, and that it's a primary trauma is how she said it, and that these things aren't necessarily even real, and they're actually just psychic traumatic traces, but they feel real. Wild. So yeah, so she helped clear that stuff and release it, and even just help me understand like psychologically the origin, or even, you know, whether you believe or you don't believe in any of this stuff, it's like in shamanism it's always just like a metaphor or a symbolism can help your subconscious mind release something, and your conscious mind as well to understand. So you know, if you believe it's a placebo, it's still effective. So yeah, so she did that, and that was pretty interesting. And then when I sort of, as I said, I only really got them around that period, like in those years anyway, because I was doing so much meditation and like really boosting myself. But I was living in Berlin, which is quite a heavy energy, and it has a lot of really heavy residue from the war. And yeah, just like all the stuff that Germany has been through, and Europe. And I do believe a lot of us went to Berlin to help clear the energy there and to lighten it and to bring healing, whether it's as art practice or healers. I was also told by a Reiki healer there that I am protected in Berlin and that not everyone was or is. And she was one of the first to say that I was from Atlantis and that I also come from the like fairy realm, elemental realm. Yeah, relating to New Zealand, but also I believe there's portals through the planet to other parts of the planet with the elementals. And so this lady said it basically came from somewhere else off-world, and that could have been Lyra, it could have been the Pleiades that were taken over by hostile energies and destroy themselves. And anyway, so yeah, for a couple of years after that, I still had them occasionally. So I wrote to her and I was like, they're still around. And she was the one who advised me, how about just not giving them any attention? Just don't even think about them. Just give them no power. And honestly, I just never get them anymore. So they're gone, There would be a period for a few years there where I could feel them coming close to my auric field in my sleep, and I'd wake up before they were even on me. So yeah, I was sensitive to the energies and I knew that they were close. But I feel like I've been doing so much like strengthening of my energy that I don't think they even come near me, or they might still be around, but they don't fuck with me. Which is awesome. Really happy about that. And honestly, I went to this Twin Peaks ball, like midwinter ball, the last days as Laura Palmer. And if anyone who knows Twin Peaks, the TV show by David Lynch, and I didn't see Bob at all. There was there was a Bob who's the like poltergeist ghoul guy who possesses her father to kill her. And I had a dream one time that I healed Bob in my dream. My dreams are really powerful. I feel like I'm going to do a video about my dreams. I had a dream where I healed Bob in my dream. It was so weird. I was like touching Bob, like putting my hands on him, and then like my auric field, like my sacral chakra and solar plexus just like blew light out of them. Like, so I've never had a dream like that in my life since or before. So there was that, because he was like not being afraid of the darkness. And then I had a dream just lastly, just not on the entity note, because I think I've healed the relationship to entities, and which is what I'm sharing. I had a dream when I was in Berlin last year, visiting for the first time in 4 years since I left, and I was staying in Friedrichshain, which is like a big party area where people go to these big clubs and party and take lots of drugs. And in my last days in Berlin, I had a dream that I was asked by like a higher power to heal or to help someone who was dying of a drug overdose, help them pass on to the other side. In my dream, I had that dream, and I did, and I helped them pass to the light. And I woke up and I was like, oh my God, maybe that actually happened, like, because I'm in this area where that's possibly something that could happen, where someone could die from a drug overdose around in this area. And they were like asking me to like help them pass over, because they're like, oh, like she's close, like get her to do it. Pretty interesting. Yeah, so anyway, that was pretty wild. And death is not something to be feared. It's just another state of being. It's a transition we always choose when we go. And our loved ones are there. They're always still with us, and they're there on the other side waiting for us. I've watched a lot of near-death experience videos lately, and I've gotten a lot of downloads around this. So, yeah. It is a sacred transition to the other side, though, and we're in a time where we're trying to get out of karmic loops. So we want to move away from getting caught back in a karmic loop cycle, even in our death. Like, you want to fully, properly go to the light, to the other side, rather than being ushered kind of back into some other karmic cycle. Yeah, we're in a massive time of just like releasing and moving away from karmic cycles. So pretty amazing time to be in, and entities are real and not real. And the more you strengthen your energy field, the less likely they are going to hurt you or tamper with you, or you're going to be getting, and also in your real life, allowing people to drain you, or energy vampires being in your life. The stronger you are with your own boundaries and your own self-worth and meditation practice, or whatever it is that you do to uplift yourself, might just be dancing or spending time with people that you love, or swimming in the ocean, going for walks with your dog, playing with your children, whatever it is, things that just like strengthen your sense of joy. Yeah. Entities and those energies will only come when you are in a space of doubting yourself or not feeling strong in your boundaries. So, yeah, ignoring them. Yeah.